All right. Hey, everybody, and welcome to Zenfolio Live. I'm Robert with Zenfolio Customer Success, and I want to say thanks for joining us on the live stream today. Hey, if this is your first time hanging out with us, go ahead and throw your location and say hi to us in the chat. Let us know where you're chatting from. And as always, we love you guys who come back week after week and hang out with us. We've already got Home Phone in there saying hello, aloha, and Lynn is hanging out with us as well, saying happy Thursday. This is like one of my favorite days of the week because I get to hang out with all of you awesome people. But today we're going to be talking about is how you can streamline your mini sessions with BookMe. So some really cool stuff. I've been telling you guys about this the past couple of weeks, and I've got a very special guest. You guys probably remember her from the last live stream on BookMe, and she's going to be on here in just a second. What we're going to be covering is how you can create a mini session service, how you can set the service duration, setting the service availability, setting the service buffer time, and then enabling that mini session service. Hanging out with me, taking care of you guys in chat, helping me with questions, helping me pronounce things when I can't pronounce them correctly. I've got Richard, so make sure you guys show Richard some love there in chat. He does an awesome job helping me on Thursdays. And then just some quick announcements really quick. Again, you guys, the Ultimate Photographer Starter Package Sweepstakes, I dare you to try to say that 3 times really fast, is still going on. And there's some really cool stuff. If you guys haven't checked it out yet, this is what you're going to get if you're the grand prize winner. Lots of cool stuff. $250 B&H gift card. I'll take that. But yeah, so if you guys enter the link to enter that is in the description below the video. Make sure that you guys go do that. There is plenty of time to enter. Okay. We are going to be talking about the new features for BookMe, so that's what we'll be talking about today. And then just really quick, you guys don't forget the group training sessions are still going on. There's one for BookMe for basic selling and advanced selling. You can sign up for those in the description below this video. And then as always, you guys, we are continuing to encourage you guys to post something positive daily on your social media channels. And when you do, make sure that you're using that hashtag Zenfolio Photographers. Photographers, not photographers. I tried to say a weird word. All right, well, let's go ahead and get into it. Let me go ahead and switch over and get our special guest here. You guys probably remember her, Miss Katie Glyman. You guys probably remember her from last week. She's going to be taking us through and showing us these the new enhancements to BookMe. If you guys have questions along the way, whether it's about BookMe or anything about Zenfolio, make sure that you put those in the chat so we can get those answered for you guys live today. Quick weird fact I just found out about Katie, so I'm not sure if we can be friends or not. She's actually never had a cup of coffee. I don't know if I trust her or not, you guys. What do you guys think? All right, Katie.
All right, so it is a true fact. I think I'm just highly caffeinated by nature and I don't need the extra little boost, but true fact. So thank you all. I'm excited to be here. I am a product manager for Zenfolio. I have been working closely on BookMe, and I am very excited to be talking about mini sessions and how you can incorporate them into your studio. If you're already doing them, great. And if you're not, this will give you some ideas here. And if you are, it makes a really easy way for you to be able to get them scheduled seamlessly with your clients without all the back and forth that goes in between. So without further ado, let's dive right in. I have my, you've got my screen up right there?
Yep, we can see your screen.
Excellent. All right, so everyone can see my screen here. So I'm logged into my Zenfolio account, and you can see here that I'm just on my photos page, and I have already activated BookMe on my account. So you can see in our navigation that I can select BookMe. So I'm going to go ahead and head into my BookMe account. So BookMe is an add-on service. If you don't already have BookMe, you can add it on to your account, and it's either a monthly or annual subscription. We have some really awesome promotions going on around that. Oh, this is loading up for me. So we have 99 cents per month for the first 3 months if you're doing a monthly plan, and then we also have an annual plan for $48 for the year, which is a killer rate. So let's take a look here. We're going to talk about setting up our services, and then we can wander around. If you have different questions, we can go wherever you'd like, but let's take a look here. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I want to create a new service. So I have already, when you sign up for BookMe, we give you some just default services that we list in here. Some of these we've modified or not, but you will have 4 default services And then you can customize those, you can delete them, you can create your own, but we try to give you a head start here. So for this one though, we're going to create a brand new service, and I just made notes on the paper napkin here, and so we'll go ahead and drive on through here. So let's see. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select my shoot type. And for this one, let's say that I am planning to do mini sessions, and I want those mini sessions, maybe I'm going to do, let's say, Santa sessions or something, and so maybe I'll consider those are going to be with children. So I can pick my different types of shoot types, and I'll say these are going to be child portraits, and maybe you do mini sessions, I don't know, of Tyrannosaurus Rex, you know, with kids, maybe not, maybe Santa. So we'll do this is going to be our Santa session. So we're going to call this is going to be our Santa mini session. And then I'm going to put what my price here is. So if my price is $75, and I'm going to set my duration. So as part of the mini sessions, you'll see here that our durations are in 5-minute increments. So I can go all the way down from 5-minute session, and I can go all the way up to 12 hours. So depending on what I want, it wouldn't be a mini session if it's 12 hours. But for this, let's just say that I'm going to have 10 minutes for my mini sessions. And so every 10 minutes, I'm going to do a different shoot. I also could set a duration, which we'll dive into, but let's say my session's $75. And this one I'm going to say I am not going to collect a payment at the time of booking, but I'm going to collect the full amount later. So I can say I want to collect the full amount on the day of the shoot, or I can send the invoice manually and collect that payment in person when they come in. If I did want, I could also say I'm going to actually, I'm going to collect the full payment at time of booking, and then they can enter a credit card, pay directly when they book, and then it's done. But for this one, let's just say I'm going to collect no payments. And we did have a third option there, that's collect a partial payment. So you can see a lot of flexibility depending on what your service is going to be and how you want it to work for you. So just by default here, I can see my service availability. There's a buffer that's 30 minutes for the session, 30 minutes after, and I can shoot 4 of these a day. But we're doing a mini session, so I want to customize this for me. So I'm going to actually set custom availability, and I'm going to say that I'm going to do these mini sessions on, let's say, on a Saturday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., and I'm only going to do it on, maybe let's actually do it, I'll say 2 days. So I'll add that to one other day and the next day here. So I've got these two, so I'm going to save that time slot. So you can see here I've added it Saturday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and I'm going to have it also on Sunday. So now I'm going to create a buffer time. I don't need any buffer in front, but let's just use a non-mini session option. So if I wasn't doing a mini session and I was like, oh, well, I'm doing family portraits and I have to do a setup before, and so maybe I need a 30-minute buffer to get set up and a 30-minute buffer to break down. Or even maybe you need less time to break down and more time to set up. So you can change those dependent upon the front or the back on how much space you need in between. But because these are mini sessions, I'm going to be moving pretty rapidly. What I'm actually going to set it to is I'm going to set it to a 10-minute session, and then you'll see that I put a 5-minute buffer. So really, it's every 15 minutes I'm going to have a session, but 10 minutes to be shooting with my client, that's what they're booking me for. And then I'm going to allow myself a 5-minute transition to the next client. Or if you're insanely fast, you can go back to back to back and have no buffer in between. You get to customize how you want. And so for sessions per day, I don't want to calculate how many I need between 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. So I'm just going to say don't set a limit. But maybe you do want to calculate and you say, I can't shoot more than 20 in a day. And so set whatever that might be. Maybe you only want to do 8 in a day. And of course, it's dependent upon, I put from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. But if I was shooting from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m., the most I can book is 8 sessions during that time. All right. And then the next thing is my available dates. So I want to, you notice that I picked my availability for a Saturday and a Sunday. These mini sessions are special, and I don't shoot them every day of the year. I'm only going to shoot them, let's just say, the weekend of Thanksgiving. I'm not sure when that really is. I'm going to guess Thanksgiving's on the 26th. So I'm going to say my availability is November 28th and jump ahead, hold on, get to the end here. All right, and the 30th. So only on those 2 dates am I going to be available for those mini sessions. If I was setting a range, if I was doing mini sessions over several different dates, obviously we'd set this up a little differently, but I'm going to go ahead and save those. And now we can see that my availability is Saturday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., also on Sunday. I've set the buffer, no buffer in front, but I do have 5-minute buffer at the back end of my session. And I don't have a limit on how many I'm going to book in a day, and I'm available on these 2 days. So now I'm going to set this as my primary location. So let's say that I have a studio location and I'm going to be doing a custom set, and then I'm going to go ahead and get that set up all in here. So I'm going to select my primary location and then use my paper napkin here. I'm going to find my little notes I made to myself. So, all right, so I'm going to say for my service details, I have my online gallery. So I am going to add another detail here. So this is where I'm going to be describing to the client, what does this come with, right? So I have my online gallery. I'm going to offer 3 digital files. And then I'm going to do like, it's going to be a photo with Santa. I'm going to also put, I'm doing a custom design set and whatever other, tidbits that I want to put in here. And if you need a little reminder of what the service details are, what they look like, this is kind of to show you just a sneak peek of what it's going to look like on your website and how it's going to be displayed. So now I've added my service details. Now I want to decide how I want to, do I want my clients to give me any additional information? So I can enable this notes field. So this allows my client to say to me something like, I have a 2-year-old and a 1-year-old, plan for lots of crying, or I want to bring my dog to the session, or whatever they may do. So they can enter any notes they want for you here. Then they also can you can set whether or not you want this to be a reservation. If you choose for it to be a reservation, that means that you're going to approve the booking before the deposit or payment is made. So if, let's say that you're accepting payment at the time of booking, we will still capture their credit card information, but it actually won't be charged to their card until you approve it. Okay. I think I was moving so fast. I talked about these and then I didn't actually select mine. So I'm going to click no payment at the time of booking, and then I'm going to actually select on the day of shoot. All right, so now I can go ahead and save these settings. And we can see down here, I've added my new shoot type that's called children. I can see my Santa mini session has been added, and then I can see my duration. I was thinking maybe I'd set up one more mini session type just so we can see kind of some flexibility to see. So let's do that. All right, so I'm going to go back up. I'm going to create a service. And for this service, this one's actually going to be family. So let me actually put it on family portrait. So it's going to be family portrait. And this one is going to be fall portraits in the park. And my pricing for this, I'm going to look there, paper napkin, and I'm going to set my duration here to, let's say for this one, I'm going to do this one at 45 minutes. Let's do that. So let's make it more mini than that. Let's say 30 minutes. So I'm going to do 30 minutes, and I'm going to do them back to back in one location. And I'm going to also, for this, just for the purposes of making it easy for us to test this, I'm going to say I'm going to collect no payment at the time of booking and the full amount later. Most of the time for a session, though, like this, I'd collect the full payment at time of booking. They enter their credit card information. It's a done deal. Makes it really easy for me. And we're partnered with Stripe. And so it makes it very easy for you and doing your setup to be able to enter your get set up with Stripe. Your clients can enter their credit card details, and then you're paid out. Makes it easy peasy. So our service availability, we're going to see here, I'm going to go ahead and customize my availability again. And so for this one, maybe this one, we're just going to do, maybe I'm going to do it through the fall, and I'm going to do Tuesday. Let's change this. Let's do 6 p.m. I'm going to do kind of that golden hour, right? So from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Oh, not a.m. That's a long day. I don't drink coffee, therefore I also don't wake up early because it takes me a while to get going. So, no 6 a.m. All right, so 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. And just to save myself some time, I'm going to say I'm going to apply to all days, and actually then I'm just going to delete out. Ooh, hang on, I clicked it beside there. I didn't hit save, sorry about that. Let me go back in and do Tuesday. So change that back to 6 p.m. and then we'll go to 8 p.m. there. Okay, and save that. So now it's actually across all days. I'll delete Monday really fast. And I'm actually going to delete also Sundays. I don't want to shoot on Sundays, but I'll do that maybe Tuesday through, and maybe I want to do weddings on Friday. I don't want to shoot portrait session, so I'm going to delete those. So now I've got Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. That's what I'm going to pick for my schedule. I'm going to save those. And now for buffer time. For my buffer time for these ones, I actually can go back to back, and I don't need any time. A 30-minute session, I can transition pretty easily. So maybe in this one, I don't want to have any buffer at all. So I'm going to take those all the way down to no time in between. And for my sessions per day, I do want to set a time limit. And let's say for these, I only want to book 6 in a day. For my availability, these are going to be fall sessions. So I'm going to jump ahead and look at my fall schedule. And I'm going to say I want to start those first weekend of September, and I'm going to run to the end of October. Now, keep in mind, too, I'm setting my availability and I'm saying I'm open, but once you sync your Gmail, not your Gmail, your Google Cal, you'll be able to, we'll be able to read your calendar. And if you already have, book club with your friends on a Tuesday in September, and you've got, baseball with your kids, and you have another photo shoot already scheduled, we'll be able to see that you're blocked during those times, and so you won't be double booked. All right, so that looks good. For this one, maybe I'm going to allow my clients to pick the location here. And so I'm going to set a radius that I only want to shoot within 10 miles of my set location there. So my primary location is determined by me. As I mentioned, I could say that maybe that's my studio. Maybe you don't have a studio, and maybe you have, you're working from home. And so the client's location, when it's tied to the primary location, they will never see your actual physical address. All they'll see is a radius from. So I live in Colorado, so mine would say, a radius from 10 miles from Denver, Colorado, or whatever I have as my address. I think I have it as Littleton. But anyways, it'll be a radius from that, but it won't actually say my physical address. Okay, so details here. And I'm looking, so I've got my online gallery. So glad I made notes on my paper napkin here. Let's see here, I've got my online gallery, and I've got we're going to say this is up to 5 people. And then I'm going to also say they get 15 to 20 images to choose from. And maybe one more detail here, that it's a fall setting with a lot of color. Okay, so you can just see it can go. And one thing that we have also done with this recent release we just did, you can actually add up to 10 details. It used to be 4, and so now you can add 10. And so I could put a lot more detail in if I want, but for today, we're good. So this one, I am still going to enable them to be able to add a comment field, but I am not going to make this a reservation, just so we can see the difference between the two. So I'm going to go ahead and save. Great. So now I can see here under family portraits, I've created fall portraits in the park. I've got my 30-minute session. I also have now my children's Santa mini session. And then I can, let's say that all looks great. And actually, let's just say here that I actually don't want the shoot type to say children. Maybe I want my shoot type to actually be something like Santa mini sessions, all right? So maybe I could change my shoot type if I want it to be something other than children, or maybe I just call it, Santa. We'll just say Santa. I'll just leave it as that. So I'm going to say Santa. So you can see now I've made that change. It used to be shoot type was the children. Now it's Santa. All right. So I'm going to move on now that you guys have seen, oh, I forgot 2 details. One is I created this service. Now I just need to enable it. It's disabled by default, and we do that because if you've created a new service, until you're confident that you want it up on your website, we don't want to put it up there until you're ready to pull the trigger. So now I'm going to enable this on my website. I'm going to go back down, and I'm also going to enable my Santa sessions. So we'll go over to my website. If you look here, I haven't refreshed yet, so we won't actually see them yet because I didn't hit refresh. Now let's go ahead and hit refresh, and I have added those sessions, and we will be able to see them on my website. Great. So now I can see here, I'm a client. I've now gone ahead, or as a photographer, I've gone ahead and put these on my website. Now a client can come in and they can book these sessions. So in this case, I sent out an email blast that says that I now have my Santa sessions available and give them a link to my website to book. They come to my website and now they can see that Santa mini sessions are available. They're a hot commodity. So everyone's racing to my website. I've got $75 for 10 minutes. I see it's an online gallery. I get 3 digital files, a photo with Santa. It's on a custom designed set. I see that I don't owe anything at booking, and the appointment subject to approval from the photographer, and then the full amount of $75 is due on the day of shoot. So looks pretty good to me. I'm going to go ahead and hit continue, and notice that it jumped us ahead. It didn't show us today's date because that'd be silly because these sessions are months away. So we just go ahead and take you right to what the availability is. So first available date is Saturday the 28th. And I can see, now if you remember, we did 10-minute sessions, but 5-minute buffer. So my session is actually booked out in 15-minute increments. And so this client sees here my availability of every 15 minutes. Now, as a reminder, when they were looking at my session, we'll go back to the beginning here, they see it's a 10-minute session, and then they're just given those 15-minute blocks. So they go ahead and they can pick 8:45 in the morning. I can see where my photo shoot is going to be. I can go ahead and click on continue. These are going to be my notes here. So, and it says notes for support. This is actually what we have written internally. It would be notes for your photographer is what it would say when it's your actual account. So this is when it's just for testing purposes. So let's see, I'm going to bring my Tyranno. I don't even know how do you spell T-Rex. I'm going to bring my T-Rex and 1-year-old. So that's going to be a good for the photo shoot. All right, and let's go there. All right, now I'm going to enter my name. So I am the client. So we'll put in my client name. That was just me. And we put in, so I can put in my email, and then I can put in a phone number. Actually, I'll do my Zenfolio real quick. So Zenfolio, and then I can see my booking summary. So now I've got, it's $0 because that's what's due today. I chose as the photographer to allow my client to be able to book without making a payment. So then they can see that they have this service available, what they're booking, the time, where it's going to be, about the occasion, and then I see the service total, and I also see that that's going to be due at the time of my session. So everything looks good. I'm going to go ahead and book. All right, so now we're going to go full circle here. So now I'm going to go back into my BookMe account because 2 things just happened. So one, they booked, which is amazing. So the consumer gets the email that says, congratulations on your booking, and it gives them the booking confirmation. Second thing that happens as a photographer, you get an email that says you have a booking, but you need to confirm that booking because this one had a reservation. So as a photographer, I would get that email and I would come into BookMe and I would see for my bookings that I now have a pending booking for November 28th. And it's for this mini session. So I can, at this point, I can decide if I'm going to approve that session or if I'm going to decline it. If I had accepted a credit card payment up front, as soon as I hit approve, it's going to charge the client. In this case, I didn't have a credit card payment. I'm going to let them pay at the time of the session. So I'd hit approve. I can leave them a little note like saying, I can't wait to work with you. And then it will send them an email that it has been approved and booked, and it will include this little note from you, and it is signed from the photographer. So now I can see that this booking has been added. It has moved from a pending booking to my upcoming bookings, and now I can see, and it will automatically, because I have my Google Calendar synced, it's now been added to my Google Calendar, and I can see it on my Google Calendar. I can see it in BookMe, and we're all happy because it took very little work for me to actually accept this booking and have it show up on my calendar. All right, I did a ton of talking for 20 minutes straight.
I think you need a water break, but it's really cool. Thank you so much for that, Katie. So you guys, this is a really cool feature, but what I think is interesting is that in order to make this mini session kind of feature available, there was actually several kind of enhancements that had to be done to the BookMe widget. And you kind of talked about one of those, which was the details, which I don't think really is specifically related to this, but it is a nice enhancement. But just a quick refresher, what are a couple of the other enhancements specifically that had to be made for this kind of mini session option to be available?
Sure. So one of them is that we had moved, we initially had, if I go back down to my session here, we had set up that the service setting your buffer before and after, number one, it was just one option. So you could only say, I want a 30-minute buffer. And if you said 30 minutes, it had to be before and after the shoot. The other part of that is it was not shoot specific. So by doing these updates, we've moved it into the shoot. You can specify the before and the after, and it's per shoot. So for mini sessions, I only want a 5-minute buffer. For a wedding, I want a 2-hour buffer on the front and the back. Basically, I only want to shoot one wedding a day. So you can really customize it the way you want, and you weren't able to do that when we had it as a global setting. The same thing for sessions per day. We had a max of 8 sessions per day. For our mini session shooters, 8 sessions is not going to do it. We have many that shoot, one example, I think they did 5-minute sessions from like 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. I don't even want to do the math on that, but in the hundreds basically is what it was. So changing that number of sessions per day, again, changing that to the service level allows me to specify that's what I want for a mini session. But for a wedding, I only want to book one wedding a day. And of course, my availability will determine how many I can book in a day as well. But I can say one wedding a day, and I only want to allow weddings on Saturdays or whatnot, or so you can really customize it the way that you want. So that's one. The other one is we've done an update where you can go back to the service. So let's say that this particular client did a mini session with me, and I got to go to the client, not my services. So I've now booked this mini session, and let's just say that the client wanted to add on a package, and or maybe they wanted to schedule like a second one for their nephew or something to come with them. I could create a new invoice for them, and so this is also a new feature. So I could say, oh, okay, so they're actually going to need 2 sessions because they're bringing additional family members, so it's going to be another $75. This is going to be for the second session. You guys get the idea. Or maybe they're adding extra coverage or additional images or whatever it might be. I can make a note to myself on why I'm invoicing them so I can see that later. Added on more time, something like that. And then I can either send a notification to the client, which would send them an email to make their payment immediately, so basically sending them their invoice. Or if I'm going to collect that payment manually, I'm actually going to say, no, don't send that to the client. I'll go ahead and save that. And now I can see here that invoice has been created. I can either mark it as paid, so if they just paid me via check when they came in, or from a different source, then I can mark that as paid. Or if I wanted to email them at a later date, I can click on send, and that would send them an invoice at a later date. So that is one of the changes that we had made on there.
That option to add a new invoice, is that something that you can also do after the fact? Like I can think of several shoots where I don't know, something
Absolutely.
happened. The client brought that extra person even though they said they weren't going to. Maybe I had to help them retrieve their keys from the car with like a wire hanger or something like that, and I want to send them an invoice, right? So it is available to send it to them afterwards.
It's definitely available, and that definitely happens in the situation that they add on more time, or they decide, maybe you're doing a mini session, but then when they get there, like the parents weren't planning on being in it, and then they decide that they want to, so it's no longer a mini session, and so easy to invoice them later for that.
Very cool. Very
Yeah.
cool.
Trying to think, I've talked about, so I think I've covered just about everything. Yeah, I covered all the details and the updates that we had for.
Awesome. Well, we're going to take a quick break really quick. We will come back and Katie's going to hang out with me and answer your guys' questions, but we're going to take about a minute break and we'll come right back.
Water break.
Hey guys, happy Thursday. Welcome. My name is Richard with Zenfolio Customer Success. If it's your first time, we appreciate you hopping on. Hopefully this won't be your last. And if you always come and hang out with us, we always appreciate you guys. But I hope you guys are enjoying the tour of BookMe, our newest feature. I'll let you know too, and I know Robert has mentioned this in the past, but there's a great demo that you can get your hands on our demo account, white gold photography. It's really good for BookMe because there's a great demo of it, but also it's a great place just to see what you could put in your site. There's a lot of really great examples within that site menu of things that you could potentially apply. But hey, if you are watching the recorded version of this, you can always click the link below if you have any questions, and Robert will be happy to answer them the following week. It's called Email Questions for Next Week, I believe. But if you're, of course, live with us today, definitely throw those questions in. I'm happy to help. Robert is happy to help. That's what we're here to do.
All right. Thank you, Richard. And let me see. Let me make sure that Katie got unmuted because there we go. You did. Okay, perfect. All right, you guys. As Richard was saying, if you have questions about BookMe, anything about Zenfolio related at all, make sure that you get your questions in the chat. I know we've already got some questions about BookMe, so I'm going to get some of those going. We have like 27 minutes left. There's a lot of time to answer questions. Let's go ahead and get started. First question I have, this is going to be for you, Katie. It's from Jason T. Photos. He says, will coupons work with BookMe? Absolutely. I think it would be great to have that for sure. Let's see. Next question. Jenna Designs. Any plans to add service add-ons for BookMe? As an example, maybe an option to add a makeup artist for an extra $100 more. That could also be where that extra invoice option comes into play as well. Okay, awesome. I think we're having some audio issues. Guys, let me know in the chat if the audio is back now. I'm not seeing any issue indicators on my screen. Are you guys seeing any? Is the audio back now? Richard, somebody let me know really quick, and I just want to make sure that the audio is coming back. I can see your audio meter moving, so I don't know if YouTube's having an issue or if I don't know what's going on. One second, let's see. Sure. What was the question? Right. So yeah. So one of the things you guys can do as an add-on service is hold on. People are still messaging me. What are they saying here? Nope, audio is cracking. Katie, test. Some people, looks like some people can hear you. Okay, well, I guess they can hear me and not you. I think maybe no, I don't think I pushed a button. Okay, well, I will just, if I can't answer it, I'll just pass your answers on. That's really weird that they can't hear you. Okay, so for the add-on service, if you need to do an add-on service, then basically what you could do is create a service and then duplicate that service and then just upcharge the price of that service and put the add-on in there as one of the details, right? So just like when you're using Zenfolio's built-in package option, where maybe you want to offer a package that comes with an 8x10, a 5x7, and a download, and then maybe you want to offer a package where it's like two 8x10s, two 5x7s. You're just duplicating that original package, but in this case, you're going to be duplicating the original service, raising the price up, and then adding that detail. You probably would also want to know, put it in the service name like Katie's showing right now. So for those of you guys who do Santa sessions and you have like cookies with Santa, that's a really popular one that I've seen people do, that you can do. Hopefully the audio is improving. My voice is choppy as well. They're saying my voice is choppy as well. Let me see. Why don't we see if turning off your screen, yeah, maybe that will help. Let me get my screen back up here. And they're saying that I'm crackly too, so I don't know what's going on. Hopefully that kind of fixed things a little bit though. You guys let me know if that fixed things. We're going to keep going on. Sorry if the audio is not coming up. We are trying, yes. Okay, let's see. Next question here. I'm very crackly, not choppy. That's interesting. So this is from, there is an audio hum also. That's strange. This is from, I'm not even going to try to say that name, are multiple photographer options being looked at for BookMe. I have a studio with multiple photographers. Would like for the client to be able to specify which photographer they want. So, yeah, okay, so I think is that something that we are looking at, Katie, right now, or is it's not something we're looking at now, but I think it's a good feature request at least, right? Absolutely, absolutely. Let me see if I can't fix. I don't know if this is going to change anything or not. Anything changing, you guys? Still cracky, but we can hear me. You guys can hear me, but it is crackling. That's wonderful. I don't know what's going on. Okay, we'll keep moving on. Let's see. Next question from. Yeah, you are unmuted for sure. I can see your audio. So when you talk, I can see. I can see your audio moving. Let's see. Let's see if turning this off, and this off, and maybe if I turn some of these other things off, maybe it'll help. I don't know. Is that any better? Whoa, that made me really loud. That probably cracked it really loud. Is that any better, you guys? Did that improve anything? Can anyone hear Katie? It's weird that everybody heard you perfectly until I jumped in, so that leads me to think that there's something going on with my particular audio that's messing with yours. Can you guys hear anything better now? Anybody in the chat or Richard? Have we disappeared? I don't know. I'm not even getting any response now. I know we're still live. No changes at all. Nope. Everybody's saying nope. Okay. The same crackle and no Katie. That's so weird. I don't know how that happened. Okay. Yeah, they're saying no Katie. Okay, so we're just going to keep going on. Jenna says, am I able to specify a specific day for a mini session instead of a date range? I think you answered that question today already pretty well. You're definitely able to specify a specific date for the mini sessions or a date range. Now people are chatting with me over here. Okay, but yeah, so you definitely can do that. Let's go to our next question here. Let's see if I go away. Let me see if I go away, if sorry guys, I am not sure what's going on with our audio. I don't know if, I mean, everything looks good on my end. I'm not seeing a mute or anything like that, so I guess I will just keep going. You can definitely change the names of the shoe types, right? You are not stuck with the default shoe type names that are in there. They're more like really good suggestions, but if you need to, to rename them, you can. So I think I can show you how to do that in here. If we go in here, in my account right here, and let's just get down to, let me see what my frame rate is. It looks like I'm having an internet connection issue as well. It sounds like it's through a fan. That's so weird. I don't know what's going on. So if we go down here to services, and if I go down here, here are the shoot type names. And as you can see, these are kind of the default names, but you can actually go in here and change these. So if you don't want to, use engagement as a shoot type, or if you don't want to use real estate or some of the other defaults, you can literally just click on this and change that. So you can say something like summer mini sessions, or whatever you want to call it, right? If you want to call it something like, I don't know, Santa with me sessions, if you want to say youth sports sessions, if you want to say mini sessions at the park, then you can rename these shoe types anything that you want to call them. So there's lots of different options that you can do for those shoe types. You can just rename them. Great question though. Let's grab the next question really quick. So this question is going to be for, let me see if I just, there we go. This question is going to be from James. James says, can I collect all my payments manually? I believe that's an option. I kind of showed how to do that already, right? That's the option when you're setting up the service. So if we go in here, really quick, James, and if we go down here, collect no payment at time of booking, but collect the full amount later. And then I will invoice I will send the invoice manually or collect the payment in person. So that's definitely an option. You just have to set it up there when you when you set up your service. It's an option right in here. So that's a great question as well. Now I have to run all this stuff over here. Let's see. This is a good question. Ryan G says, if I'm including a free product or multiple free ones, how could I do that through BookMe? I think so. Man, that's it could be a detailed answer. It depends on what you mean free products. So are you talking about you're including a free product that you're going to give your client at the shoot? Are you going to be giving them free prints? Are you going to be giving them a coupon or something like that? I think my answer for this is yes, you could totally do this through BookMe. You just need to specify what you're giving them for free in the shoot details. So down here in the shoot details or the service details, you just need to go in here and specify what they're getting. Now, if you're going to give them something on the day of the shoot, just list that here. If you're going to give them a $20 print credit like I have on here, then that might be something to where before you go to that shoot, you go on your Zenfolio account and create that $20 credit coupon, and then you either print it out and bring it with you on the day of the shoot, or when you email them their gallery, you could email them the coupon code then. But that's a great question. I mean, the answer to that is there's so many ways to do it, but yes, you could definitely do it just using the shoot details or the service details. Let me say it correctly. Great question though. Next question from Hannah Crawford says, could I use the new tool or booking tool as a way to schedule a client proofing meeting? I like to have a conversation about the photos we took together rather than just having them pick and send. So if you're looking to do like, it sounds like what you want to do is either an in-person or maybe a virtual proofing session. You could definitely do that. You just create a service option to do that, to where you're not charging anything, or if you're going to charge for it, obviously you can put it in there. But yeah, absolutely, you could definitely do that. You would just set it up, and then for the pricing, obviously, you would leave it to 0, and you'd be good to go. So yeah, it's totally, you can do that as well. Really cool option. I mean, the thing that I love about BookMe is that part of the things that we have to do as photographers is all the back and forth that we have to do with our client, especially when it's like setting dates, picking times and dates. I get really tired of being like, okay, well, I'm not in my office, or I'm not where I can see my calendar, or I'm in the middle of the shoot, or all the other things that we're doing. Or maybe you're at a basketball game with your kid and you just are not, you don't want to miss something and try to be fumbling and checking your calendar. The thing about BookMe is that for all of those things where you're trying to schedule dates with clients, they can do it all through BookMe because it syncs to your Google Calendar. And I run everything through my Google Calendar because Google Calendar syncs to so many different things as well. So it kind of gives you a place to put your schedule, let it live, and make sure that you're not getting booked when you have something going on. My wife and I actually have a family Google Calendar that we share. That's crazy that we have a family Google Calendar where, like, if somebody has a doctor's appointment, it gets put on there, and that way I can see it because she knows that I'm always checking the calendar. Super, super helpful. Great questions, though, you guys. Next one, if I have an emergency and I need to block off the rest of my afternoon, how could I do that quickly? I'm doing Google Calendar for my schedule. So I think the answer right there is, in that question, probably the quickest way to block your calendar off would just be to go to your phone. Hopefully you have your Google Calendar synced to your phone. Hopefully you do. And then you can just go in there and add a block and block the rest of that afternoon off. That way you don't have to come in here and try to change all this stuff and then remember to come back and change it later. You just hop on Google Calendar, go in there, block it off on Google Calendar, and then you're good to go because it syncs with BookMe and nobody will be able to book you for that time period that you blocked off. Guys, we got like 12 minutes left. I'm so sorry about the audio issues. If you guys have questions, definitely get those in the chat so we can try to answer those. I'll try my best to answer those. Hopefully the audio is improving a little bit for you guys. A couple more questions. Let's see. Katie, I don't think you guys can hear Katie, but I know that Katie shot a lot of mini sessions. Do you still do a lot of mini sessions as well? In the fall? Okay. So you guys probably couldn't hear what she said. Is typically in the fall. Try to do them they're typically back to back, so she tries to do that to maximize the weekends. But curious if you guys out there, how many of you guys out there shoot mini sessions? It's not something that I've actually done yet. It's something that I've looked into and thought about. Just because I like the idea of being able to do a lot of sessions really quickly in a couple of days. And I think it would be great, and having this feature is really kind of the piece that I was waiting on, because I really didn't have a way to let people go and schedule these without taking the craziness of trying to manually figure out how to schedule it or using an outside service or something like that. First mini session that you ever did, how did that go for you? What was it? Absolutely, absolutely. Now, have you ever, maybe not even just in your mini sessions, during your time as a photographer, and I'm asking you guys this question in chat too, how many of you guys have done the lens cap sandwich? Does anybody know what that is? This is something that an old photographer that I was learning through made fun of me for doing. We were out. I was just getting started in photography, and he had a friend of his out modeling for us, and I went to take a photo, and you know what? I had my lens cap on, and he was like, "Oh, rookie mistake. You pulled the lens cap sandwich." So curious if you guys have had that happen to you. Anybody had that? Have you ever done that? Let's see. Nope, they cannot hear you at all still. So, okay. Next question. Let's just grab another question. Through the viewfinder, can I change the color through the viewfinder? Can I change the color of the book a session button? I love the Zen orange, but I like a dark green better for my site. Yes, you guys can absolutely change the color of the book a session button. Now, it's not going to be in theme designer, which I think is what you meant to say. But you can change the color of the book a session button here on in the BookMe session. So if you go down to customize right here, you can actually change it right here, and I love the fact that you can do a hex code because I hate having to memorize RGB values. I like just going to Adobe, getting the colors and just getting the hex code and putting the hex code right in there as well. Sharks 408 said shooting a whole roll of film on a rangefinder with the lens cap on is the pits. Oh, yeah. Katie, you shot on film, didn't you? You did? All right. Ever shoot a roll with the lens cap on? Say Cheats Photography. When collecting a payment for the sessions, is there a way to advise the client that the payment is non-refundable if they do not show for the appointment time? It does say that in two places. It does say that in two places. So yeah, that's actually built in for you guys there. It does say that in two places for you, but great question. Let's see. Let me grab the next one here. Got like 8 minutes left, so let's see. Live through my camera. Let me get that up. Live through my camera. I want to use BookMe, but I have a starter account. Where can I find it? So this is only going to be for pro accounts, right? You have to have a pro account or higher, I believe. Am I right, Katie? Fact checking that with Katie. BookMe is not available on starter accounts, right? It's just pro accounts or higher. Oh, starter accounts can do BookMe as well. Okay. Okay, so not on a trial starter account, or not on a trial account. It does have to be a paid account, but you can do BookMe even if you're on a starter. So you can just go up to your name up here, go to account, and then what you're looking for is the add-ons option. So if you go into account right here, you should see where it says add-on plans. You can hit visit right here, and that will take you to where you can actually go and add on the BookMe widget to your account. Great question though. Interesting. Okay, let's see a few more questions here. Sharks 408 says, is it possible to reschedule a session? So I think that's something that the photographer can do. The client doesn't have the option to do it. They would need to contact you, the photographer, but you can, as the photographer, go back in and reschedule that if you need to. So if you go to, let me just see if I can show you guys how to do it. And I don't know, my computer is running really slow too, so I'm thinking there's some kind of internal issue going on that I'm going to have to do some maintenance because it is running really slow. In fact, Katie, I might let you go so I don't hold you hostage anymore, and maybe that will give my computer CPU a little bit of a break. Thank you so much, Katie. Everybody say thank you to Katie. All right, let's see you. Let's see, let me close Skype down. There we go. And let me just hide all of Skype. There we go. Sorry about that, guys. I don't know what the issue was that was going on. Let me go up here. And so the question was, can you reschedule it? Absolutely you can as the photographer. If you go into BookMe, you should see, I don't know if I have anything in here or not. I have a pending in here. So if I need to go in here, I can go to reschedule right here. So these are pending shoots that I haven't approved, or if the shoot is upcoming, I believe you can reschedule it. I don't have any in here, but you can just go into pending, and there should be a reschedule option right here. Great question though. Let's see, like 5 more minutes left. Okay, and the sound is back to normal. Okay, my computer must have been just, I don't know what was going on. If Skype was not making things happy, not sure what the deal was. Sorry about that, you guys. So let's see, next question here from Zachary says, on my homepage, I have recent photos added. It shows albums. Is it possible to show the individual images? So that is a good question, Zachary. I'm assuming that probably what you are showing is a grid homepage, right? So you've probably got a grid homepage set up, and you probably have that grid homepage pointed to a folder like this. And what you need to do is just point that grid homepage to a gallery instead of a folder. So just to kind of show you really quick, I think I can show you in like 4 minutes. Let me get this opened up really quick here. We'll jump into this new tab. And then if I was using a grid, so like if I go up here to, like, excuse me, to layout, and I use a photo grid. Yeah, that's a great question. So I'm using a photo grid, and then on this grid, if I say, so let me just kind of, can I not? I can move it down. Here we go. If I go up here and I say grid content, and then I go to grid options, and I go here, I can select a folder. So if I select this folder and I approve it or apply it, then what it's going to be showing me are the thumbnail images on that homepage. So what it's going to be showing me is the thumbnail images on that homepage. So basically, it's showing me the thumbnail images for each gallery that's in that folder. So all I need to do is go back up there. Oops, wrong way. Back up here to grid content. Change this over to actually go to a particular gallery like this. So if I go to that gallery like that and hit select, then it would be showing, I don't think that gallery actually has any images. Let me go to a gallery that does. So right here, and then apply that really quick. It will now, instead of being showing the thumbnail images of the galleries that are in that folder, now it's actually going to show the images instead. So if that's not the issue, Zachary, if that's not what's going on, I would probably have to take a look at your actual account to see how it was set up. Not sure what could be causing that. So I would definitely have to jump into your account and take a look. So what I would recommend that you do is, if that's not the issue, reach out to the chat team right here. Chances are they will tell you exactly what you need to do in like 5 minutes or less. As soon as they understand and take a look at your account, it's not going to take them very long to figure it out at all. We got like 2 minutes left. Let me see if I can answer at least one more question. Say Cheese Photography says, if I schedule myself to work at a location on my Google Calendar, will I still be able to have an open appointment times in BookMe? Great question. So that is going to come down to your Google Calendar settings. When you go into Google Calendar and you schedule yourself, there's an option where you can show that time block as being free, or you can show it as being busy. So I don't know if I can get my Google Calendar over here in enough time to show you what that looks like, but as long as you mark that time block as being free, even though you have that block on your calendar, it's not going to affect your BookMe widget or people being able to book with you, because you're just kind of reminding yourself about that. You're not blocking that time off, if that makes sense. Hopefully it does. All right, you guys, again, I am so sorry about the audio issues. I don't know what happened. I will try to get in here and figure it out, because I definitely don't want that kind of thing to happen again when we have more guests on here, which I think we're planning on having a special guest next week. So again, please do accept my apologies. Not sure why that happened, what was causing it. Everything was looking good on my end, except for my computer was just running extremely slow. So I don't know if an update was made or something like that. But I do want to say thank you guys so much to you who hung out with me, who toughed it out even through the cracks and the crackles, and hopefully it wasn't too loud and all the audio issues that we had. Thank you again to Katie for coming on here and giving us a wonderful demonstration of the new options and enhancements that are on the BookMe feature. Guys, make sure you go in there and check it out. This is really, really cool. So go in there and check it out. It's a huge advancement for the future. So make sure that you go in there and check it out. Thank you so much to Roxanne Bay, 410 Aerial Photography and Inspection in Oliver, Sharks 408, Home Phone, Lynn, Say Cheese Photography, Photography by Ginger. Let's see, anybody else that I missed? Thank you guys again so much for hanging out with me today. Again, I do apologize for the audio issues. I'm going to try to have those worked out. Don't forget, on Tuesdays, we do site reviews. Same time, same place. You can actually submit your site to be reviewed. So make sure that you come back and you hang out with us again on Tuesday. Until then, I hope that you guys have a safe, wonderful weekend. Make sure that you're doing something positive. Make sure that you're encouraging other people, lifting other people up, and let's all work together to make the world a better place, because it really, really needs it right now. Thank you guys again. Have a safe weekend. I'll see you guys again on Tuesday.